After a long wait, today we are releasing a new episode of the second book of Jumana. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Press to watch the previous episode so you can follow along. Let's dive into this new episode together. The wise man exclaimed. Ayub, Jumana asked, pointing at the two of them. These two say they are your friends? Ayub did not recognize them. It was the first time he had seen them. That's not true, he said, then closed the door and went back inside. Jumana glared at them in anger. Were you lying to me? No, we weren't lying. Iqlil said. Let us explain. I don't want an explanation, she said, arresting them and dragging them away from the room. In a final attempt to salvage the situation, the wise man managed to pull his head out of her grip and shouted toward the room. The annoying little louse is asking for your help, Ayub. Before Jumana could take them any further, Ayub opened the door and said, Wait, Jumana, just a moment. Jumana stopped in her tracks. Ayub looked at them in surprise. Did one of you say the annoying little louse is asking for my help? Yes, I said that. Who are you, rat? I am not a rat. I am the wise man. Which wise man? The wise man of Jasasa village. Have you forgotten me, you big gorilla? When he uttered the word gorilla, Ayub smiled in recognition. After they explained everything to him and told him that Asif needed his help, Ayub surprised them by saying, I have retired from war. The wise man asked, You would let your friend's son face death alone. Bahar is no longer my friend after he turned against me and tried to kill me. But Asif needs you, and I need to be alone. Iqlil intervened, saying, He sent us to you, trusting that you would stand by him. Listen, both of you, I have nothing to do with anyone. I have retired from war. That's the end of it. The wise man asked, Is that the last word you have? Ayub walked back towards his room, saying, It's best that you leave this town quickly and forget about your meeting with me. Then, before he could draw the curtain and enter his room, Iqlil spoke. The sea conveys to you his love and regret. Ayub stopped in his place and said without turning around, A good try, bird. But do you think you'll change my mind with this lie? He is not lying. It is truly his last will before he dies, said the wise man. Ayub turned around, and the signs of grief were on his face. Bahar is dead. Murdered, said Iqlil. Did he say anything else? Ayub asked. Yes, replied the wise man, adding, He said he does not offer you an apology, for you are the one who taught him that friends do not need to apologize. And only then did Ayub realize that his lifelong friend had died. 32. Asif and Sarabi moved to a large courtyard where all the elders of the emperor's family were sitting in a circular, tiered theater lit by fire from all sides, resembling the stands of an old Roman stadium. Everyone was looking at him with curiosity and whispering among themselves, wondering about the reason that this grandson had come for. Asif whispered, asking, Rosanna, who are all these? These are the elders of your family, your highness. And why are they looking at me this way? The prince. They are wondering about the reason for your arrival, she added. Don't pay attention to them and follow me. Asif and Sarabi complied with the request of the she-devil Rosanna and walked behind her to the middle of the courtyard, where two people were waiting for them, sitting behind a high rocky platform. One of those two people was known to them, and that was the minister Kizrin, but the other person sitting beside her they had never seen before. Despite this, Asif had a strong feeling, reaching the point of certainty, that told him that that person was his grandfather, Jabbar the Emperor's. He was majestic, of huge build, with a bald head, his beard speckled with white hairs, and a long white mustache ending in two curves upward. He had sleepy eyes with a charming sparkle and cold facial features that seemed indifferent to anything. Despite his advanced age, he appeared to be in perfect health, strength, and attentiveness. Stop here, Rosanna whispered to them, and then she continued walking towards the rocky platform to present the piece of cloth stained with Bahar's blood. Kizrin took that piece of cloth and licked the edge of her tongue on the blood sticking to it, then asked in a low voice, Did you verify it yourself? I saw him with my own eyes, drowning in his blood. Okay, whispered Kizrin as she returned the piece of cloth to the she-devil and said, Pass it to the elders of the family one by one until they verify for themselves that the one who took their daughter is now dead. And here, Jabbar spoke, looking towards Asif. Do not be afraid. Approach, young man, and tell us why you requested to meet us. Asif held Sarabi's hand and then walked forward with her. I came to ask for your help. He paused a little to give his upcoming words the greatest possible amount of strength, then added firmly, in eliminating the elephant's tooth. Asif's request created great turmoil among the elders of the emperor's family. No one expected that to be the reason that pushed Jumana's son to come for. As for Jabbar, who seemed to have prior knowledge of the matter of that request, he received it with great coolness as he struck the rocky platform with his huge fist. Quiet, gentlemen. Then he looked towards his grandson and asked, And why would you want to eliminate him, young man? Because he killed Jumana, your daughter. He chose those words words carefully, believing that he would succeed in influencing his grandfather with them and convincing him more to ally with him. But he was surprised when he heard the response. But this is not helping us in your request. That means the Emperor's family doesn't matter. So why do you think we might? Isn't Jumana your daughter? Then he looked around. Isn't she one of you? She is not anymore, said Jabbar with a calm that indicated indifference. Then he continued. She abandoned being a member of the Emperor's family a long time ago. Don't you love her? He asked naively. No, said Jabbar categorically. Asif did not give up and said, does this mean that you did not grieve when you learned of her death? Silence fell over the hall while he continued questioning. Does this mean that you did not feel the slightest desire to take revenge on the one who killed her? Then he asked another question without giving him a chance to answer. Does this 6 mean that if time were to take you a little back, you would not have tried to protect her from death? Despite the strength of the questions and the hostile tone that Asif was directing at him, Jabbar appeared, through the look on his face, that he knew how to control his nerves well. So Asif shouted at him. They told me that you are brave, but I see you hiding like a coward behind your silence. The turmoil returned again, enveloping the hall, and if the elders of the Emperor's family had not been present at that time, no one would have believed that there was anyone still alive after raising his voice in front of Jabbar and calling him a coward. The huge hand rose again and struck the rocky platform. Quiet, gentlemen. Then he said calmly, I told you that Jumana is no longer from our family, and this means that her matter no longer means anything to us, and if time, that means, would take me back a little, like you said, I would have. He interrupted him before he finished his words. Enough lying, please don't continue. Then he added in a tearful tone, don't tell me that if you knew about it, you wouldn't have tried to protect her. There is nothing in the world that convinces me that you didn't actually care about her. The elders of the Emperor's family could not bear to watch their leader being humiliated in that way, so they all rose up, demanding to stop the session and take that rascal back from where he came. And here, in response to the requests of the audience, Minister Kizran struck the rocky platform with her fist and then said, the session is over with the rejection of the request to participate in the war. This is not fair, Asif exclaimed in protest. She did not care about his protest and looked at the she-devil Rosanna and said, take them away from here. I will die, he said in an attempt to deceive them so that they would reconsider the matter of the alliance with him. The elephant's tooth must have known about my visit to you, and he will kill me when I return there. So do I also not mean anything to you, O Emperor's family? Said Minister Kizran. You can stay here under the protection of the Emperors if you wish, but this girl returns from where she came. Do I seem trivial to you to the point where you think I would abandon my friends out of fear of death? That's your business, she said, then added, looking at the she-devil. Come on.